Hi, I'm Rob Pritchard and I'm the sports editor at Manx Radio. Recent weeks have seen numerous riders and teams starting to confirm their plans for next year's road racing season, with the Isle of Man TT one of those meetings firmly in their sights. One of the latest has seen an exciting development in the three-wheeled racing scene, with a TT debutant and podium finisher in 2024 set to join forces in 2025. Sidecar driver George Holden, son of two-time Sidecar TT winner John Holden, will take to the Snaefell Mountain Course for the very first time next year, having been learning his craft in the last few years. He'll be joined by someone who enjoyed a very memorable racing fortnight this year. Passenger Jake Roberts claimed a podium place in third alongside sidecar legend Dave Molyneux last summer. This is a new venture for both George and Jake. I've been catching up with both of them to find out how much they're looking forward to this new chapter at the TT. George, thanks very much for taking a bit of time to speak with us. Now, in the last few days, you've been part of some very exciting news going towards TT 2025, following in your dad's footsteps and his successes at the TT over many years. You're the latest generation of the family to be heading on to the mountain course next year. First off, and very generally, how excited are you for that?
Oh, I can't wait. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, been going with my dad for years and years and just been submerged in it. So, like, to get the chance to go down the hill now, really can't wait.
Does it kind of run in the family? Were you almost did it feel like a natural progression, or did you take an interest and then throw yourself into it almost?
I've always had an idea of going and wanted to go. And when I started racing back in 2019, I was more focused on the F1. And then once I just gained a bit more experience and got comfortable with riding, the TT was always blooming, if you will. And so these last couple of years, it's just been within the pipeline to go and have a go.
And just off that, actually, for those who don't know, I guess, like you say, you started racing in 2019. Could you just give, for those who don't know, a bit of a general overview of your sort of racing journey to this point?
So we started in 2019 on an F2, racing at Darley-Moor, did the Darley-Moor Championship. And then between 19 and 20, we got on an F1, which was like the COVID sort of time. Did a few meetings in 2020. Got up to speed on that fairly quick, and then since 21 through to now, I've been doing the British Formula 1 Championship. So we've managed to get third in that in the last couple of years, and then had a bit of a run out on the F2 in between as well. So next year will be more focused on the F2, just preparing for the TT.
And of course, in the sidecar community, you'll be rubbing shoulders with people who've been either doing the TT for the last few years or many years, for example. So have you been able to kind of garner any advice off people already, or have you not got to that stage yet?
In a way, yeah, you're always soaking up what people say to you and what they're talking about, and just trying to absorb as much information as you can. But obviously, we're having my dad about. I've just been listening to him and trying to focus on what he says as well. So,
and of course, you'll be teaming up with Jake Roberts as well, who enjoyed TT last year with sidecar legend Dave Molyneux, since retired from the sport as well. So, how did that come about? You two teaming up for TT 2025?
Well, we're both looking for a ride going into the 2025 season, and got on each of us radar, if you will. So bit of a conversation, and both our goals and interests and everything were pointing in the same direction. So, and I get on with Jake well. He's a good lad. So we've decided to team up and looking forward to it.
And the two of you, have you raced together before now?
Never.
So a completely different experience. So maybe what time will you kind of get together as a team between now and TT 2025?
So we're hoping, we've got lots of testing planned at various UK circuits, hoping to do the British F2 Championship as well, and just basically anywhere we can get on the bike, we'll just keep riding, do as much as we can, and just build that relationship and gel the best that we can before the TT.
And as you've already mentioned, naturally you're excited to be involved in the TT, and people say, of course, it is a very different experience to being on the short circuits. As it stands now, what differences are you expecting in terms of a challenge?
So obviously, like you mentioned, there's the road aspect to it with the bumps, a lot of blind corners, obviously you're racing between walls, but then also just being on the bike for that length of time. Everywhere in the UK, you're probably 10, 15 lap races, at most. So you've 20 minutes on the bike, whereas the TT, you've a full hour of racing. So it's just that level of concentration, not just being on it for that long. So in that position, because they're not the comfiest of things, particularly for a tall lad like me. So a few differences, but I'm just hoping with the time on the bike that we can get settled down and get into it.
And again, for some context for those who don't know, your dad, John, is a two-time TT winner and 21 podiums as well to add to that as well. So are you going to have him in your corner going into TT 2025?
So far he's in my corner, but you never know. He's got such a love for that place, and I think if the right opportunity came along, he'd be racing himself as well. So we'll see. As it stands, he's coming to help me, but you never know, we might be on the grid together.
And not just this year coming, but going forward, that there is that almost general saying that it takes a few years to learn the mountain course, whether you're a solo rider or a sidecar competitor. So have you just got any personal objectives in mind at all for this first year, or are you you taking it as it comes almost?
Just take it as it comes. My main objective is just go over there, do a good job, and just focus on myself, keep chipping away, keep learning, and I just want to get as many miles in as possible. Keep going round and round if we can, if the weather allows, if the bike allows, and just keep soaking up as much information as we can.
And generally, again, not just the TT, but have you given any thought to maybe potentially racing on the Mountain Course at the Southern 100 next year?
Yes, so that's in the pipeline as well, and that's part of our plan. So me and Jake have agreed to do that as well.
Jake, thanks for taking a few minutes to speak with us. Some exciting developments going towards TT next year. You've had a memorable 2024 and now a different challenge for you in 2025. First off, how excited are you for this new chapter at the TT next year?
I'm probably equally as excited as I was going into this year with Dave. It's obviously a slightly different challenge. More with Dave, it was just sort of making that mark and putting full preparation into that personally. Whereas going into this with George, it's hopefully going to be a nice long partnership for many more years to come, and also to just grow and learn together as well, which will be I think really exciting. This will be my third TT now, so newcomer first year, and then with Dave this year, and then on to this next year. So
seems like quite a steep learning curve. So obviously, as you mentioned, that your first time as a newcomer, but then last year, of course, with an absolute master of the mountain course, a 17-time winner in Dave Molyneux. What was that experience like for you?
That was insane, to be fair. An absolute dream come true. I mean, my first TT, we were the last bike on paper to set off. I mean, we set off a bit further up the order through qualifying and that, and then going into the year after that with Dave, there was even talks of us going at number one for one reason or another. So it was literally like from one end to the other. So I had to just put a lot more effort into sort of learning the course at that sort of pace. I mean, you think you know it living here, but you really do question your knowledge when you're flying around like that. And then just everything I learned off Dave, and just really helped me sort of hone in my skills at such a quicker rate, to be fair.
Just off what you said there, the things that you were picking off someone like Dave as well, as a passenger to someone with that sort of success and knowledge, what were the main things you picked up? Were they quite big lessons you learned, or was it little things here and there?
It was a bit of both, to be fair. Just first of all, the speed at which you can actually go around some of these corners and things like that. Just absolute knowledge on Dave's part, and doing it like the back of his hand. I mean, a bit of an eye opener the first few laps, and then but even down to like the actual bike and the machine itself. I mean, Dave, everyone's obviously knows he does absolutely everything himself. So just all the little things you learn with that, and like diagnosing things and what actually does what, and similar to like your car with mechanics almost. When you're faced with an issue, Dave is the man to be solving stuff like that. So that's really brought me on that side of things, which is really helpful as well going into like a new team. I know obviously George has got his dad John, which will be an absolutely massive help, but I'm also really excited to get into a team with more wealth of knowledge like that. But personally as well, that was really handy to pick up.
And just quickly before we get on to this new team as well, I've got to ask again about securing that podium in the second race. What was that like?
Honestly, when I say a dream come true, it really, really is. I mean, that's all I've sort of wanted to do since I was an absolute kid. I mean, I've seen it many, many times, and to actually do it, it was just surreal to be waved into that winners enclosure at such an early sort of stage in my career. And I literally had to close my eyes and think, I'm going to open my eyes and I'm in the TT winners enclosure. But I'm just sort of it took a while to actually sink in that, but now coming back to it, I just think now I know I can do that sort of thing, and little tweaks in that, and then like going into this with George, it's obviously nothing's going to happen straight away, and we're not going in to set anything alight, but it's nice to sort of put a long-term plan in place as well, where I think that we really could. We're both, I think, just as hungry as each other, and we could get back up to that at whatever stage.
Well, now it's probably best to talk about 2025. I've been reminiscing for the last few minutes, really. But taking a look forward, of course, the likes of yourself and George would be, in theory at least, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the younger teams in there as well. But both of you from slightly different backgrounds as well, but with great, I suppose, experience. Yourself with the likes of Dave Molyneux last year, and obviously George, and his dad, a TT winner in his own right as well. So how exciting will it be, should I say, to bring all that knowledge together?
I think it's going to be really, really exciting, but at the same time, like, we're both sort of on the same wavelength, where you see this sort of thing like the TT from such a young age, and you see sort of the behind the scenes of how everything works. You really do have a different take on like the respect you've got to have. So that side of it is really comforting as well, going out knowing you'd be sharing that machine with someone just as like-minded as you. Not that anyone goes out gung-ho or anything like that, but it's just, I think stuff like that builds really strong foundations for being successful.
And obviously, you've both, up until this point, had your separate commitments elsewhere as well. So between now and TT 2025, how important are those next few months going to be just to kind of get to know a little bit more about each other, to kind of gel as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, lots of trips over on sort of George's part, which he'd be doing anyway to sort of get the laps in. I mean, he'll know his way around anyway, but it's just it's a different thing actually driving around and sort of really getting your eye in him. It's nothing like when you actually first get out there, but yeah, just to be sat in the car, going around together, talking through things, and just starting to get a really good idea of what each other's sort of thinking and going to be doing. And that's really the long and the short of it. We need to know exactly what the other person's thinking within a split second almost, and that also comes with time as well. I mean, any successful pair around the TT course, you look at them and they've been together years, and it's like Ryan and Callum and Ben and Tom, it's like brothers as well, and that's the sort of teammate you're looking for, really.
And one thing you sort of alluded to just a few minutes ago was the fact that maybe it's the idea that this team could be one in place for the long term, for several years. Is that the goal, if things work out, to build over a longer period of time as a pairing?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, like just saying then about like the trust and that sort of thing, that's sort of the key to everything. But yeah, I've got no doubt in my mind that it's something I'd want to be invested long term. So we've just got to sort of get cracking now. And it's one thing to sort of, anyone that's good at what they sort of do can jump on and gel together, but you've really got to sort of fine tune it for this place. And yeah, I'm just excited to get going.
Thank you for having the stamina to make it to the end of the Manx Radio Sportscast. You're clearly someone who has their eye on the ball at all times. Want to hear more about the latest sporting news across the Isle of Man and much more? Then might I recommend you take the plunge and subscribe to this series or a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so that, in a flash, all of our finest moments take a winner's place on your smartphone. Thank you.